Hey, what's up? Are you wasting time? You better not be procrastinating. You better. No, I'm just playing. So here's the thing. I used to struggle with procrastination, right? A lot of times we tend to have issues with procrastination because we're trying to put something aside to do something right now, whether that's something fun, something that we feel is important, so on. I'm sure that you've probably felt that same thing, right? You've probably been like, oh man, let me just finish this load of laundry and then I'll take my kids out, right, to the park or something like that. Or anything. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, here's the thing. I want to help you solve this problem. About a year and a half ago, I suffered with procrastination myself. And it's something that I continuously have to make sure that I'm staying on myself about. But procrastination is not actually what it seems to be. So there's actually two things that cause you to procrastinate. Okay. Um, Number one, right, is you lie to yourself. And that sounds really weird to say, but you lie to yourself and say, okay, I'll do this in a second. Right. And the reason why you do that is because what you're doing is also important. Right. And it may not be important to everyone, but it is important to you. And what that means is that you're putting something important to the side to finish something important, right? And so that's really the struggle that you have in your mind, right? And the second thing that you have to understand is that procrastination, because it's you lying to yourself, it's a really funny way of saying this, but you have guilt that you owe yourself, if that makes sense. So I feel guilty to myself about procrastinating with something. And so that makes me feel bad about the procrastination, which causes me to procrastinate more, right? Because it's an internal issue. It's something that you had a thought that was wrong, right? You lied to yourself and said you're going to do it later. You lack trust in yourself, so you feel guilty. And then later on, you do it again, you feel guilty again, and it becomes an ongoing cycle. So, now that you understand what procrastination actually is, you can stop it, right? And here's how you stop it. So, number one, win early, right? Start early with building trust and really think about it like, I want to build trust with myself. That's what helped me, right? So, for example, something that I often used to procrastinate about, I played video games like a crazy person, right? And I actually, for some time, was trying to be a professional gamer. And because of that, I put video games as a very high priority because it was a part of my business, if that makes sense, right? It's a part of my business, right? And so I'm like, no, I got to practice. I got to, do this and do that. And so next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, I haven't done the laundry in about 6, 7 days. My pile is getting big, or I'm missing key dates that are important to me as well because I got to practice. And a big part of what helped me, and it's funny because I only really figured this out through essentially the woman, excuse me, that I'm with. Uh, she kind of helped me get through it by essentially she would invite me to dinner, and I was like, okay, well, I'll be there, and then I wouldn't go, or I'd be really really late, and then she'd call me and be like, never mind, don't worry about it. And so I really had to commit to myself and say, what's more important to me in the moment, right? Because I'm giving myself time to play, I can say, okay, well, when she calls, let me just boom, turn it off right then and there. And that's a big part of it is that there's an easy delay, right? And so there's a author called Mel Robbins who has this thing called the 5 second rule, right? And actually, there's going to be a link in the description if you want to check that book out. But the 5 second rule is essentially give yourself under 5 seconds to take action on anything. That's how you win early. Okay. Number two, And this was something that is really important to me, right? And I kind of got this. I just came up with this on my own, but I celebrate every time that I do something good, right? So it doesn't matter how little it is. And the concept really came to me because I realized that a lot of times we tend to overlook our small successes and only deal in big success. And I feel like that's not really good, right? I feel like you should celebrate every success because here's the thing: how you potty train a child is by clapping after they use the potty and saying, "Yay, big boy or big girl," or congratulating them for using the potty, right? The way that you reward a dog for doing something you want is you give it a treat after it does the thing. And so here's the thing: is you start to build a cycle, right? And this is kind of there's a study about this called Pavlov's dog, right? Well, it comes from the Pavlov's dog thing. I don't know necessarily where the study is. You can look that up. Pavlov's dog. And essentially what he did is he found out that you can condition an animal to be wired differently based on. So what he did is he made a sound, fed the animal, and after a while, the animal would start to salivate every time that it heard the sound. Right? There's no food at all. There's no food anywhere, but the animal's salivating. So we can condition ourselves like Pavlov did with the dog, right? Condition yourself to salivate every time there's an opportunity, right? Condition yourself to move every time there's an opportunity to take action. Number 3, right, is remember those successes, right? Throughout your day. You don't have to remember everything, right? You don't have to say, yeah, I hopped up and brushed my teeth right away as soon as I got out of bed. Yay. Every single, day for like weeks. But every day that you get to that point of like, okay, it's bedtime right now. I did all these things good. And what we tend to have a habit of doing is we tend to have a habit of only remembering our negatives, right? And we basically have like an evil version of ourselves or a not good version of ourselves that we build guilt towards, right? So you remember I said before, you don't trust yourself, so you have guilt. Well, you have to throw away that guilt by remembering all the good things that you've done and building yourself up. And it really comes down to your own mental self-talk, right? And then finally, now here's the important thing, because for me, when I first started to build this habit of really coming out of my procrastination, I would start a lot of things and not finish, right? And I still struggle with it at times, and I'm getting better at it. So finish, right? See your whatever you start, make sure that you finish it, right? Don't multitask, especially when you're trying to break a habit like procrastination, because you multitasking is really you giving your attention to this thing for 10 minutes and then giving your attention to that thing for 10 minutes, but you can't be in both places at the same time. So really focus on saying, I'm going to finish this one thing, right? It's going to be something that I'm antsy to move away from because I have something else in the back of my mind I want to do, but I want to be able to celebrate at the end of this. So I can go, boom, yeah, woo. And I literally do those faces, like, right? I say, woo, I do like that, or I clap, right? Clap 3-4 times to really have an internal party. And then I move on to the next thing. So hopefully this has helped you guys. And I really want you guys to try this out, okay? Now, if anything that I said stuck out in your mind, comment below. Let me know what it was. Anything that I've said that you feel like has helped you. Also, you can just hit that little thumbs up button and subscribe, baby, because I'm going to be here every day. You're going to see me a lot anyway. You might as well subscribe and hit that little bell button to get the notification. All right, so anyway, that's it. It's Mike Malborough. I love you guys. See you next time.